should be at a voice level 0, right in your agenda. And then start your bell work. I will read it to you because the sun is like kind of coming in. So it says, if a car travels 165 miles in 3 hours, determine its speed in miles per hour. And if 10 gallons of gas costs $35, find the price of gas per gallon. So this is 35 and this is 3. The sun will move and you should be able to see it, but that's the only other information. So the car travels 165 miles in 3 hours, right. And 10 gallons of gas cost $35. Okay? Solve that, please. So I should have probably let you know that I want you to set them up as a ratio and then find it, okay? I didn't clarify that. Okay, I'll read it again. A car travels 165 miles in 3 hours. Determine its speed in miles per hour. And then if 10 gallons of gas cost $35, find the price of gas per gallon. Should we put that gas and cost? That's hard for me to say. can you come up and set up just our ratio? If I say a car travels 165 miles in 3 hours, what would that look like as a ratio? Okay, do you guys agree?
No.
No.
Oh, okay, what's wrong with it? It's backwards, what do you mean? Okay, so we wanna do it in the order that it's up there, so 165, and then our 3. Okay, so how's another way, Alyssa, that I could write this ratio?
Can I say to Brian for a second?
What would be another way that I could write this ratio? Okay, I like to use the fractions because I feel like they're kind of a little bit easier to work with because we're more used to fractions. Okay, so let's give some labels to our quantities. So what does the 165 represent, Cydia?
The miles.
The miles. So I'm just gonna put an M. You can put whatever you want. And Monty, what does the 3 represent?
The hour.
The hours. Okay, Prashana, what are we trying to find out in this problem?
The speed in miles per hour.
Miles per hour. So what does that mean when I say per hour? What is,
Like, how many feet, like, an hour?
every single 1 hour, right? 1 hour, and then the next hour, so we went 1 hour, we went a certain amount, and then the next hour we went a certain amount, and then the next hour we went a certain amount, to where after 3 hours, we had gone 165 miles. So do I want to set my equation up with the one on the top, Joseph, or on the bottom? Why do you think it would be on the bottom? Can you say that again? I just didn't hear you. Okay, because we want to find 1 hour, and our hours are on the bottom, right? So now, Danielle, what would I do if I want to find how much it went in 1 hour? How far?
Divide
By,
by 165 divided by 3.
so why did you divide it by 3?
Because 165 goes into 3 hours, miles goes into 3 hours.
Okay, and we can think of it like, how do I get from 3 to 1? Divide by 3. So whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator, right? So what did you get when you took 165 divided by 3, Monty?
Oh,
You didn't get that one yet?
didn't finish.
Oh, okay. What'd you get, Danielle?
55.
55. The ones who finished, is that what you got? So that means each hour she traveled 55 miles. So 1 hour goes by, 55 miles. Another hour goes by, another 55 miles. Another hour goes by, another 55 miles. To where a total was 165. Okay? Okay. Alyssa, can you come set up the ratio for our second problem? So this says, if 10 gallons of gas costs $35, find the price of gas per gallon. Yeah, set up the ratio for us, however you want to set it up. Okay, do you guys agree with her ratio?
Yeah.
Okay, she's got it labeled, you're gonna see her. She's got it labeled, she's got a G by her, she's got a G by her 10, because that's how many gallons we have, and she's got a dollar sign by her 35 because it's money. Okay, so now what are we trying to find in this equation, Alyssa? Gallons per hour. Find the price of gas per gallon. So which number would we want? We know when it says per, we're thinking 1. So which number would we want to be 1 this time? Right, we want to know how much does each gallon of gas cost? 10 gallons cost $35. We want to know how much each gallon costs on its own. So can you set up your ratio for that? Where would the 1 go? Okay. Okay, so she put her 1 on the top. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want it to be 1 gallon. So how do you get from 10 to 1? From 10 to 1? Divide. What are you going to divide by? What do you think? I've heard 1, I've heard 10. What do you think? 10. Okay. So if you divide the gallons by 10, you have to also divide the money by 10, right? So off to the side, take the amount of money. So 35 divided by 10. If you haven't done it, you should be doing it with her so you can check her answer. Wait. 35 divided by 10. So which number would go inside? 35 has to go inside. Okay? Good. So 10 goes into 30. Doesn't go into 3, right? It's too big to go into 3, so we have to think how many times does it go into 35? Whoa. Put that away. Do you have a calculator in your brain? Oh, put it up. 10 goes into 35 how many times?
3. With 30.
Okay, so 35 minus 30 is 5. What do you do now, Alyssa? You have 5 left over. What's that? Can't really do anything with that 5 yet. Yeah, you gotta put a decimal. When you put that decimal there, what does that let you do?
Put the 0.
Lets you bring down a 0. Okay, so now how many times does 10 go into 50?
5.
Okay, so what did you find? Each gallon of gas costs what? Okay, so write that. So on top our answer says 3 and 5 tenths, but since we're talking about money, we have to make it look like money. So $3.50. Does this, everybody got it?
Yeah.
Make sense? The most important thing is when you're setting up your ratio, you need to give your information labels, and then when you're determining your unit rate, whatever you want to be the per 1, then you have to make sure you set it up with the one that's gonna be 0, okay? Do you have a question?
Is per always gonna be 1?
In this sense it will be. Sometimes we use per in percents, right? And that's over 100 when we do that, okay? Okay, so our objectives, content objectives. Students will find the unit rate that corresponds with a ratio. That's what we just did. We had a ratio of 10 gallons of gas for $35, and we found the unit rate that 1 gallon of gas costs $3.50. The literacy objective, students will be able to explain to their partners what a unit rate is and how to find it. And the goal, students will be able to find the unit rate of a ratio. So get that written down, and then we will do a little vocabulary review. So as soon as you get that down, or get that written, put that away. Unit rate. ratio, let's review this a little bit.
The ratio of relationship between two quantities in right? This thing I fraction. One she raised.
Okay, she used her resources in the room, where we already have the definition of ratio, and said that a ratio is a comparison between two quantities. We had the quantities of gas and money. We had the quantities of, sometimes we talk about girls and boys, right? Blue shoes, black shoes. So we use quantities all the time. So yesterday we talked about it real quickly, but Monsi, what do you remember, or what do you think? How would you describe what a unit rate is?